to a corner leader fan radio network.
Excuse me?
And KFAN.com. 2 minutes and 57 seconds past the hour of 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Welcome back. It's a brand spanking new week. Although technically, I was here yesterday. So does the week, in a technical sense, Monday's the first weekday, but on a calendar, doesn't the week start on a Sunday? Or am I wrong?
I think it's supposed to.
I don't know that it does on all calendars, but in the old days, Sunday was the first day of a week.
So I'm looking at my calendar right now. I've got July 13th through the 19th. Monday is the first day as you go left to right. And then Sunday is all the way far right.
So Sunday is, they have it as the last day,
I guess so,
of the week that starts today.
I guess so, yeah.
I don't think, in the old days, I don't think that's the way they did it. But again, there's a lot of things they do different from the old days, as I'm reminded each and every day. We do know this much. It's a rather warm, not that moist, but extremely warm Monday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Guardsy is here. I am here as well. Former Ink St. Reg newspaper of the Twin Cities, Dan Barreiro, I before E, except in Barreiro. We'll get the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line started as soon as I get my hip cricket password or code number. About 50-50 that it'll work the first time, but we'll get you connected in that sense. 64686 is how you find us via the highly coveted and popular Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. A lot to get to this week. We have only one scheduled guest for now, so I'll call it a Talker Tuesday on a Monday. Johnny Athletic, back from Vegas, I think. Is he? I
believe he is, but I don't know for sure.
I thought he told me that when I talked to him the other day that he was going to be back early this week. But we'll find out. He has been in Vegas, certainly. Like everybody associated with the Vegas Summer League experience has basically become the NBA convention.
Yes.
Right? That's what it is. It's the NBA convention every year. If you're anybody, you got to go. Even if you understand that what you're seeing might be a mirage in terms of the performances, you have to be there because everyone else is there. So ego's part of it, but also access is a big part of it as well. So Johnny, big ego.
Huge.
Massive ego, and then a guy who loves access. So he'll file a live report. I think we now have it official that tomorrow is LaMelo Ball Day. Is that correct?
11 a.m. You'll hear it right here on the Fan.
LaMelo Ball Day is tomorrow. What time we having him on?
We can certainly try.
Yeah. Well, I want everybody tomorrow. I'm greedy, but we'll be lucky to get anybody.
I think that's probably a fair assessment. Yeah.
Which is unfortunate in a way.
Yeah.
Because this should be a banner day for the club. They're certainly tooting it highly. And we'll get to more of that a little bit later in the broadcast. I mentioned off the top of the program that we are indeed backing yourselves into a sneaky little corner leader. What do I mean by that? Well, specifically, I'm referring to your favorite baseball team, the Minnesota Twins. They're getting a little bit of steam. We can argue about whether they deserve any of it or some of it, but because I think we've won 8 of our last 9 series, we have definitely, at the break here, put ourselves back into the conversation in a not all that deep American League, correct? Especially, I think right now, if the season ended today, we'd be the 3rd wild card. Is that not true?
Well, we're tied for the final wild card spot. I think Seattle is technically ahead of us. Yes, but we are right there.
We're very much in that mix. And so people are trying to figure out what does all this mean? Because I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about here. There are some comments. Have you seen the Tom Pohlad comments?
Seen a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah, suddenly,
from the breakfast?
I don't even know if these are from the breakfast or from other conversations as well. But this is the key part of one of his statements or one of his conversations that's getting a lot of attention in any place where people still care about baseball locally. Let me go back. There's a little bit of a context to give this. The difference between where we've been and where we're going is, I think, the barometer for success in the past has been, let's just try to be competitive. The barometer for success going forward is, let's win a championship.
I did see this one.
And that's going to require us to make decisions, whether it's at a trade deadline or in the offseason, that look probably pretty different than decisions that we would have made in the past. Now, it's the last part of that statement about trade deadline, offseason, decisions that will look pretty different than decisions we would have made in the past. The ball guys are all trying to interpret, what does that mean exactly? And I took it, well, I know at least one ball guy who took it as Pohlad perhaps signaling that the Twins might be perfectly willing to trade Joe Ryan at the deadline, even if they're in the mix. The conclusion there being, we may be better than we thought we were going to be, or you thought we were going to be, but we're not close. So if we can maximize that kind of deal, we want to have much grander expectations. I took it just the opposite a little bit. I took it as, well, no, we might be bolder in a sense that we might be more ambitious in adding pieces than we have in the past. Is that wishful thinking on my part? No, I'm not. My eyes are open. I'm not naive. But that's how I interpreted it. But here's the rub. Here is the backing themselves into a corner part of this equation. And by the way, I have no sympathy for them because they have done this to themselves. In a sense, the Twins' worst nightmare is at the break when everybody, the break is a natural time where there's no games to write about. So you're back to, okay, where are we?
What do we know?
We're in better shape than we thought. We got the best. I mean, we scored more runs than anybody in the American League. It doesn't even make sense. We've got injuries, but here we are. We're right in this thing, right? So ordinarily, I think from a Twins standpoint, here's what it creates. It creates a dilemma. You could say, if you're a Pohlad hater, that it's a delicious dilemma, but it creates a dilemma. And the dilemma is, you can look at it through the dispassionate lens of baseball evaluation and say, this has been nice. Doesn't really feel particularly real. So, yeah, if somebody comes and blows us away on a Joe Ryan deal, we should do it. We almost have to do it. But if the Twins do that, they will get barbecued, understandably, by the few Twins fans who are left, correct? That's the backing yourself into a corner. If you take the approach this organization has tended to take for most of the last 5 years, certainly, then nobody trusts you. You've almost reached a point where, well, remember what Tom Pohlad said in the spring. I think we're going to be better than people think. Mm-hmm. And we mocked and ridiculed him. I did. A lot of people did. So we're happy for you. But that has come to a fruition, to some fruition, right, to some extent. So if that's the case, to turn around and say, well, I predicted we were going to be better than a lot of people thought. We have been better than we thought, but it still doesn't mean anything that we're actually going to go out and be bold and aggressive and add pieces. We think to get to where we now say we want to go, if you want to believe this nonsense, that we have to think more boldly, and that means more long-term, has nothing to do with an individual season in which some things have allegedly fallen our way. In 2026, for this organization, not for every organization, for this organization, it's almost impossible to sell. That's how you're backed into a corner.
That's true.
To a certain extent, I think you have no choice but to try to help yourself at the deadline, or you run the risk of people saying it is the same old thing. Now, maybe Pohlad's going to try to sell it on, no, this is going to be different. We got 4 prospects for Joe Ryan, and we're going to still try to be a factor as much as we can the rest of the season, but these are the kind of moves that when we start accruing talent are going to put us in a position where we think we can contend for a while. But Pohlad's problem is no one's going to believe that because there's no track record to indicate that the Twins would even follow through with that and that they would at some point, there's no reason to believe they would at some point, add 30, 40, 50, $60 million to the payroll, right? That's all of the issues that they're dealing with here. So if you are, as I said, a Pohlad agitator, you might find this whole dilemma rather delicious, as I said, because they are stuck. There are times you could make an absolutely sensible baseball decision. If you have an established executive and you have some baseball equity where you say, I got to tell you guys, we like how competitive we've been. We're going to continue to try to be competitive. But we know our team. And we got an offer for Joe Ryan we cannot refuse. Period. End of complete story, right? But there's no equity here. No one's going to believe you, even if it's true, because of how much you've been in denial mode. It's always, as we talked about with, I talked about Blakemore yesterday, it's what the Twins can't do, right?
Yes.
It's what makes no sense for us, what doesn't work, what won't work from a payroll standpoint and every other way. So that's why I find fascinating to see how this thing's going to go and how they'll attempt to sell it. So when you read that statement, and that's going to require us to make decisions, whether it's at a trade deadline or in the offseason, they look probably pretty different than decisions we'd have made in the past. What do you think he means? Look, I know I'm going to get pounded for this, or we're going to get pounded for this if we trade Joe Ryan being this close to a playoff berth right now. But we're thinking big. That's what we want to do. Or do you take it as, no, actually, we're going to, even in the short run, surprise you with thinking a little bigger than we have? Because that in the past, that's what they've done. They've not had a problem in the past trading away pitchers from time to time, right? Even good ones, right? If they feel like they're going to get some return. So how do you interpret that quote?
I interpreted it the latter way, the latter breakdown, that we might do something different than we've ever done, which would be adding significantly.
I agree. That's how I
took it. Now, that might be wishful thinking because, as you know, I've been a little bit more, well, let's wait and see.
You've been basically a Pohlad pocket protector on Tom Pohlad.
I think I have a little bit to say, all right, well, I guess I'm giving him more benefit of the doubt because he is the new guy coming in here, even though he's a Pohlad. I do like the fact that he's out more. I like the fact that he seems at least to say that he understands how badly they've blown it. They obviously made the change to bring him in there, so there was some acknowledgement at least that it wasn't going well on the public-facing business side on that. Now, I might be naive, and most people would tell me that I am naive, but I'm at least willing to see where it goes. So that's kind of how I'm viewing it because he said, yeah, we're going to try to do something different. So I think, okay, let's see. And fascinating is the word that you use, and I think it's the right word because that's how I feel about the next couple of weeks, how they do approach it, what they do end up doing. And they can't, in this environment, with a straight face, do the Joe Ryan thing if it presents itself, even if it is a great move, or expect to live to tell about it, I guess.
That's it. That's the problem.
And that might, because the word you used, I think, was trust, equity.
Yeah.
You know, Brad Stevens in Boston is getting killed right now for the Jaylen Brown trade and what they didn't get and who they ended up getting. But I almost think he's not being killed as much as somebody else would have been because he does have a track record of great moves and great picks and great trades and obviously a championship, which gives him the equity. So he has the ability to say, you got to trust us that we have a plan here. It might not look like the plan we wanted. The Pohlads and the Twins obviously don't have that same margin for error right now with the public.
All right, so a lot of texts have already come in. 612 guy alleges that you have Stockholm Syndrome, which is
but here's the
funny
thing.
Line.
The Twin, you're right.
Yeah.
But for me, like I would have Stockholm Syndrome with like the Gophers or the Wolves. Like a team that I'm much more connected to, or the Vikings even. The Twins,
you really have I
don't have that same vibe, even though I was a kid when they won the titles, and it shaped my formative years of being a sports fan, being, I guess, 5 years old in the first title and 9. It's one of my first sports memories. So they're not my captor for the Stockholm Syndrome.
Here's the other side of this. This is from 651 guy. Dan, are you kidding me about the Twins? Why do I envision Bradley, Ober, Keyshaw, Buxton, or Ryan on the blocks? Would there be any minor moves that can push the Twins over the top? No. Time to use our, quote, young pieces and build. Shelty has outperformed expectations. Let's see what he can do with the Major League team. So I'm trying to interpret this. So is he saying, let's not kid ourselves and go ahead and get value on the pieces that we have, then presumably later giving Shelty a chance to get a Major League? I'm confused. I need 651 guy. I need more clarification on which argument you're making.
I feel like he made both in the same text. Well, I feel like he did because he's saying ship all those guys out and get better prospects, or is he saying I don't know what he's saying, or get more I need big more knockers to help those guys? I
need more. Yeah, that's where I'm confused. I don't have any idea unless he's saying he thinks they're going to put good people on the market, when he thinks it should be the opposite because he likes what Shelty has done, outperforming expectations. By the way, Pablo Lopez is still on our team, correct?
He is. Okay. Yeah.
So presumably he's going to be back next year. I don't know what he's going to be like, right? I mean,
right.
So I don't know where to put that into the mix, because if you keep Joe Ryan, you have Pablo. I'm worried. See, my concern, this has always been my concern about baseball, and baseball is afflicted with this curse, I think, more than other sports, although they all fall into this a little bit. You can talk yourself into, we had 3 prospects? Oh,
yeah.
There'd never be greater value for Joe Ryan right now. Yeah, okay, but we're back to how many of those prospects really work out. How old is Joe Ryan? He's not 50, is he?
He's 30. He's got 1 year left on a contract. They have a mutual option. It's $13 million next year. He's making $6 million this year.
$6 million?
Yeah, Lopez has 1 more year after this on the extension that he signed early when we brought him over in the Arise trade, right? So both of those guys theoretically could be in the rotation next year on pretty reasonable contracts. When we factor in, I think it's 20, let me pull it up here, 21, about $22 million for Lopez and $13 million mutual option for Joe Ryan.
Dan, did I hear you right? You took a Polat statement from the Twins in a positive sense and assumed they would be buyers. How long have you been sick? Well, no, I'm well aware of their history. I'm trying to interpret what he said as if he's trying to declare a new sheriff in town. And then you're back to, does he mean it? And then you're back to, what defines big? I mean, the relief pitcher we just got, that's not a big move. What's his name? I can't remember.
It's Tommy something, right?
That's a minor move.
Yes.
Right? Doesn't mean he can't help, because baseball's weird that way when it comes to bullpens. But that ain't it. It's got to be something more significant. But I'll say again, oddly, I'm kind of trying to lay out the right that the Twins would have to get rid of some of the successful talent on this team, because deep down they know they're not that good and it's not going to matter that much. We're not going to be all that competitive as currently constituted. But what I'm suggesting is that gets back to they've painted themselves, their own history, though, has painted themselves into an unfortunate corner where if they make what might be classified as a sensible baseball decision, they will get barbecued for it. And that's because of the approach as recently as a year ago they took, which was to gut the bullpen, correct?
To sell them all.
That's their difficulty. That's why you don't conduct your business the way they've tended to the last 5 to 10 years. If they hadn't, I mean, what are we down? 60 million in payroll over the last 3 seasons?
Yeah.
65, whatever it is. That's a lot. It's a lot of money. And that's another signal that it can be taken as nothing other than we're cheapening this thing up. We're still bitter about the regional network, and we're waiting for the cavalry to come when this new agreement is somehow reached and everybody gets to share in the regional money, if indeed that might take place. Get to a couple more texts. We'll go long today. We went on sermons all the way to 27, talking nothing but World Cup.
I believe that.
I was proud.
I believe that.
Worked out really, really well. What assets?
Saturday was fun. Again.
It was.
Again, tremendous. It was great. Yeah.
Only an idiot would trade Ryan. That's from 952 guy. What assets do they have to even be buyers? Well, Ryan would be one. Obviously, the catcher would be another. 763 guy, I think, has got a point. He's not been out more. He did early season media, vanished till last week when the Twins PR guy dragged him around the stadium. By the way, did he get demoted?
Dustin,
is he still solid?
I think he's good. I think he's good.
Okay.
I haven't heard. This would be he's on break. He was on. I think I saw him on the plane on the tarmac to go to the All-Star game. So
okay.
I think he's good there.
All right.
He's been though more. I think he's spoken more than Joe did, than his brother did. Don't you?
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
But he's been at games more.
I just don't think he's been as good as you do. I still think he's gotten the red ass about several things that tell me he doesn't get it any more than his brother did.
That's true.
Is it his brother or I don't even know. Are they brothers?
His brother, yeah, Joe and Tom. I think. There's a lot of poll ads.
Clarify something for me. Did these guys were they born into this money?
They were.
Okay,
yes.
All right.
They and the rest of the third generation were born into substantial money, even more so than probably their parents' generation.
They have to be religious people. I got to believe. If you're born into that kind of family, you cannot be an atheist, can you? I just don't think it's possible. It's
a good question. You definitely do wonder, like, if there is a higher power.
Trust, writes RuPaul. With the big markets having all the financial advantages, baseball is broken. I'll admit it's not all the Pohlads' fault, but when they had Santana and Torrey, they didn't spend just a little bit more, strike one. And when they had Mauer and Mornosi, they didn't spend just a little bit more, strike two. And then when they had when they decided to right-size the payroll, strike three, you're out. I trust the Pohlad family trust to vote to sell at the deadline. What do we know the trade deadline date this year?
I believe it's August 3rd.
Okay.
I'll double check, but I think it's August 3rd.
August 3rd, you say?
Yeah, I have that in my mind for some reason. It is Monday, August 3rd, 5 o'clock our time. Just in time for the top 5 at 5.
Clayton from Rochester. I can remember the Twins trading for Rick Reed. Why? Because it's one of the biggest trades they've ever pulled out for a pitcher. The Pohlads dipping their toes in the trade deadline pool would be a Lavelle-style splash. Seems to be a rip there somewhere on. You have to get the fans back first, then worry about winning. It's business, right? You need your fans, period. So what's 952 guy saying? Is he saying by that vow,
you go out and do something?
You go out and do something, even if you know you're not going to be World Series favorites at the end of the moves that you make.
Right. Well, here's the thing, too. They've gutted payroll so much. What are we at, about $100 million?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe
you
less.
could theoretically add a couple of rentals.
True, that's true.
That aren't going to cost a lot in terms of what to give up.
Yeah.
Right? And then aren't going to cost a lot in terms of what you're paying them for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I get why you might not want to grab a guy who's got I mean, I can see it either way.
Yeah.
But I guess my point is, if you did want to do the short-term Band-Aid fix, like we're going to show our fans that we're serious about this thing and we're going to give ourselves the best chance, you could do the adrenaline rush of grabbing a couple of rentals and paying them whatever they're owed the rest of the season and still not have a payroll that's crazy by any stretch of the imagination. So they've actually given themselves room to, I think, obviously they're billionaires, to handle some money, especially in the short term, just for that adrenaline rush for the fans. Like, they did go for it. Well, maybe I'll buy a 20-game pack next year, and we'll see what happens this offseason.
Let's talk mood adjustment when we come back. As I mentioned, Johnny is 5:30 today.
Correct.
It'll be a talker Tuesday on a Monday. Until then, keep the text coming. Back in just a minute.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barreiro on The Fan.
From the 1-800 Ask Gary Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Speed.
Great shows to Treasure Island this year, including Joe Bonamassa, August 15th, Snoop Dogg on September 5th, and Ron White, October 17th. You can get all the details on our upcoming shows. It's the concert page at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar. Should mention, cash contest is back. Bonus bucks. And thefanandbigdeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest. Preset is the first keyword of the week for this show. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword preset.
discussion of the World Cup, if you want to call it that, is not over. There'll be plenty more World Cup conversation, certainly tomorrow. In fact, we'll do a live listen-in. I think it's a 2 o'clock start Central again, right? Spain, France?
It is.
And then the other semifinal is Wednesday, I believe, at the same time. Where is the Spain-France game? Do you remember? I thought it was out west.
It is in Texas, Arlington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all
Dallas,
right.
basically.
And then the title game is in, I think, New York, at Giants Stadium.
It is.
Well, I guess the Jets play there now, too. Right?
Yes, East Rutherford, New Jersey, Miami for the third-place match.
Interesting.
It looked hot in Miami over the weekend.
It probably is.
You can tell.
I gotta believe
they weren't the groups weren't looking to do too much when they didn't need to.
What's hotter this time of year, Miami or Houston? I know we have people who've either lived both places.
Yeah.
I haven't traveled to Miami in a long time. But
I could look up the current temps to see. My guess would be Miami feels worse because of the humidity. I know Texas will have some humidity.
Houston has humidity.
Yeah.
Dallas doesn't. But Houston does. Yeah, Houston gunbelt tight. It can get muggy. I would assume Miami might be muggier. I'm not sure. A question apropos of absolutely nothing related to what we've discussed to this point in the program. I would put this under the classification of things that bother me that probably shouldn't, but like Larry David, they do.
It's 92 in Miami right now, by the way.
What's the dew point?
73.
Oof, that's tropical.
In Houston, the dew point is 75.
Even hotter.
But the temp
moisture
is 77. They've got some storms going right now.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, all right.
So anyway.
There you have it.
Because you asked.
I try to have an open mind about some things. Not a lot of things, but some things. Will you explain to me why individuals believe, and it is apparently legal, to take the doors off of your car, Jeep, or Bronco?
Yeah.
I think I feel like I'm seeing this more and more again. Now, obviously, some of it is the time of year.
Yep.
But is it? I'm presuming it's legal.
Oh yeah, it's a huge selling feature of those
And
vehicles.
Why is it legal? Because we have a lot of laws that we put in place.
Yeah.
That you'd say, well, you're taking away my right to do what I want to do, but you say, well, it's too bad. We feel like there's a collective security issue or safety issue here, and maybe there's going to be people tell me you're not going to be saved by a door. It's hard for me to believe that it enhances your chances to survive a bad crash if there's no door there. Am I wrong? I'm not a great car mind.
I'm not either, so I Googled it quickly. Apparently, so those vehicles, it's legal because they meet structural safety standards without the doors. So whatever.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because I see it on every other Bronco, and every story I've read is the Bronco you get hit in the Bronco, it's over. So there's a disconnect there somewhere, isn't it? Isn't there? Or do they beef up the Bronco in the last year or two?
I don't know about that, but
I know
maybe there's no difference.
And they're nice looking.
They are.
I agree. They have a nice look to them.
They're really nice.
There's no question. Somebody's saying, well, you can ride a motorcycle. That doesn't have a door. Yeah,
true.
That's true.
Nordo's a big. What is Nordo has a Jeep, I think, and he takes the doors off. He loves it. It's his favorite time of year, I would imagine. I've never really spoken to him about it. I never thought.
How does that? I kind of get the top. I kind of get having that freedom as a guy who a long time ago had a convertible, and actually a Jeep where I just kept the top off the whole year, put it in the garage, and used it in the winter, or I should say in the summer. But the sides, again, I know it's each their own, but it just seems counterintuitive on so many levels.
What do they say? It's a Jeep thing.
Freer?
That's what they say. It's a Jeep thing. There's like a Jeep handshake. There's a Jeep wave when you see somebody. And I think the Bronco and the Bronco Sport, they're getting into it now too. Yeah, I just drove behind a Bronco on the way here. Where was I? I was dropping my kids off somewhere. Doors completely off.
Yeah.
Wide open. Just living the dream.
A bigger issue, Dan, for road safety is not requiring helmets for motorcycles. I will say that having lived here now coming up it'll be 40 years this November. It's one of the there's not many things left that I'm gobsmacked about here. But one of them is that this state would not have been more dogmatic about saying You want to ride in a motorcycle? We're not going to take that right away from you. You are legally required to wear a helmet. I continue to be shocked. And is there a big lobby there that fights it? Is it again the motorcycle guys? Well, it takes I want to be free and easy. I don't want a stupid, gaudy, cumbersome helmet on my head. Do you have to wear a helmet if you're on a bicycle and you're on roadways? Is that required?
I think it is. I just operate under the assumption that you should. I think it is, but I don't know for sure because I've never tempted it.
Dan, my Harley doesn't have doors. Yeah, I get it.
Sturgis is coming up.
The doors on the Jeep don't bother me. It's all those rubber duckies on the dashboard.
And what's that about?
I don't know. What is that about? I didn't even know that that's true.
Oh, it's a thing. Yeah, I've seen it quite a bit.
Door had nothing to do with car structure. It's all about the frame. Okay, we're happy for you, but it is counterintuitive. Sorry, to think that you in every situation would be just as safe without a door as with a door. I'm sorry. I don't buy it, especially depending on the outfit. Necks get broken when you wear a helmet. That's the lobby. As opposed to all the necks that get broken otherwise.
That's the other thing. How do you really do the science behind it, the studies?
I have no idea. But I worry this is one of those rabbit holes that once I'm down it, there's going to be a lot of militancy on both sides of the story. Sol and Blaine, miss my 97 Z28 Camaro with T-tops. Had it from the age of 21 to 30. Such a sweet car this time of year. Love the show, guys. That's Sol in Blaine. I wouldn't want to get T-boned on the driver's side by a truck. Well, your chances probably aren't good regardless.
I think that might be part of it.
However, a lot of vehicles now have all kinds of, they don't have like these curtains of airbags.
Side
and
airbags.
Things. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can put an airbag in an empty space where a door is gone, right?
No, probably not.
Cyclists don't ever need helmets. Okay.
Is that true?
I don't know. That's what he's saying. The rubber ducky is just a Jeep thing. You're not in the club if you don't have a collection of rubber duckies on the dashboard. Okay. Dan, don't get me going on this. I own a Bronco and I can take, hold on. Let me scroll down. I own a Bronco and I can take off my doors and roof and my kids can ride with me and not wear a helmet, but they have to wear a helmet with me while riding in my fully enclosed side-by-side. Tell me how that makes sense. So let me read that again. So Clinton, I think, is saying he's a fraud on it or he's inconsistent, right? I own a Bronco. I can take off my doors and roof and my kids can ride with me and not wear a helmet, but they have to wear a helmet with me while riding in my fully enclosed side-by-side. What does that mean? I don't even understand that. Do you? Tell me how that makes sense.
So
what's a side-by-side? Does he mean like one of those motorcycles with a sidecar on it?
No, those are like they're like UTVs, not ATVs, UTVs, like the utility
I see.
vehicles that you'll see people, take around.
Yeah.
Like campgrounds and mountains and things like that.
I guess now that we're exploring this, and I'm sure we've talked about it before over the decades, another confounding aspect to rules of the road in Minnesota, and I think a lot of places, is if you're in a sickle, if you're on a hog, and you're on 494, you can split lanes. You can go in between people. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Tell me how that makes sense.
I don't get it either. I know that people were very excited that became a thing that you could do now. Right? At stoplights and obviously on the road and everything. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I'm not doing it. But it scares me. And it is jarring when they come in between you.
Yeah, because
you're like, what happened?
You're not conditioned to think of it. So you could be about to making a lane change and you got this clown says, well, it's the law. I can do whatever I want to do.
Yep.
It sounds cool, but no one can tell me does not make the road more dangerous. Now, I'm not saying there's an accident every 15 minutes. But
no, there's not.
This is
but
ridiculous.
It's playing the percentages for sure.
The Jeep owners could hold a Ziploc bag in the open air. Would that work? That's Scott from 310 offering some West Coast humor.
I bet they could put the airbags somewhere other than the door.
Maybe they do.
Like up in the front of the vehicle, and then it shoots out sideways. Just putting my engineering hat on.
You can maybe answer this.
Probably not.
Well, you have a better chance of answering this than I do. Hold on. Let's go down there. Where did it go? My God, they're coming in so fast.
Well, you're hitting the polarizing topics in the first hour.
Yeah, I had no idea.
The Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line.
Polarizing, but this one, come on, man. This one could not have disappeared that fast. It's actually not true. So I'm sorry for the life of me. Municipalities. Oh, here it is. What about all the college athletes who drive mopeds down in Dinkytown? Is that an issue? Do we have a lot of mopeds?
Oh, every college town, yeah. There's mopeds, there's e-bikes. Mopeds is a big form of transportation, though. Especially now since they all have NIL money, they're even
I'll tell you something.
better.
I'll tell you something that for me now, it happened today. Tough guy I am, 95 degrees, not going to matter. I'm still walking the paths. Walking them hard. Sweating like a stuck pig, but enjoying every minute of it. And one of those e-bikes whizzes by me, and I'm not saying he was strafing me or anything. He was responsibly far enough away.
Yep.
I felt like he was going 110 miles an hour.
Yeah, they zoom. See,
again, on walking paths and regular bikes, I still don't think that makes any sense.
I agree.
That'd be over. It'd be lethal. You're sitting there minding your own business, listening to music, and the guy clips you, you're done. To me, it should be, if you're going to ride those bikes and you want to take advantage of the speed, obviously, there should be limits. And I think that's another question I wouldn't mind getting answered from people who would know. Are there, at least on the books, rules about how fast you are?
I think there are.
Supposedly supposed to go if it's a shared path situation.
I think there are, but I'm not sure.
Well, that's how we are on a lot of subjects, unfortunately.
You're listening to Barreiro.
Fourth, you can grab your tickets now before they're gone. All the details are at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Well, it appears, if nothing else, we do have a pig expert listening today. This is from Bill out of Brainerd, Minnesota.
The animal or the basketball game?
I think the animal. You're mixing metaphors, Dan. Pigs don't sweat. They instead roll around in mud and muddy water, which evaporates and cools them off. The phrase you're mixing up is bled/bleeding like a stuck pig, which refers to the phase of butchering in which the animal's jugular vein carotid artery is severed to drain the blood.
Oh, it sounds nice.
And leads to a rapid demise. My apologies for the graphic description. I appreciate I have used the sweating like a stuck pig before.
A lot. Yeah, that's one of your go-tos.
Huh. I think I may keep going with it because I think people still understand it.
Yeah.
But it's good to be clarified, nevertheless. Is this manna from heaven day? No. I think Dan Minnesota reminds us the anniversary is tomorrow. Didn't he send that tweet? Did you see the tweet earlier today?
I did see that, yes.
It's tomorrow, isn't it? So we still have another day if we really want to be...
If we want to milk it?
Appropriate?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's tomorrow.
We could do it tomorrow.
Great job, as usual, by Garcia on the weather report.
I had Houston up.
People just love writing you about the weather stuff.
It's literally 2.5 seconds of however long we talk. It's hot in Minneapolis today, in case people were wondering.
Nate writes, man, we've cut open several veins here. The path is nothing. Come to a small town and watch the 9-year-olds whizzing all over town on the electric scooters that do like 30 mph. What could possibly go wrong on city streets and state highways with a kid that can't make a PB&J flying around? And society at large will be compelled to feel bad when one of them becomes a hood ornament. That's from Nate.
I'll say you don't have to go to the small town to deal with that. I mean, that's every neighborhood right now.
I'm a Jeep owner. I think of it like this is my motorcycle. No doors, no top, no ducks either. Whenever I get ducked, I usually put it on the dash until I come across a child to give it to him. Also, if you look inside a Jeep, you can see the roll cage and supports, and they are a lot meatier than a normal door. Doors or no doors, a broadside from a large truck or semi is probably going to have the same outcome. That's from Charlie.
Okay, so that's the duck thing. I don't know if you caught that.
Well, no, actually, I have another theory on the start of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I'll save that. The lane splitting laws are set up for the safety of the motorcyclist. They're not supposed to exceed 25 miles per hour. Well, then you're not seeing the motorcycles I'm seeing, but nevertheless, when splitting lanes, and the reason they can split is that they don't get rear-ended by traffic. I got a better idea. You know how you make sure you don't get rear-ended by a car? Not be on a motorcycle at all in the middle of interstate traffic. Just saying. It's foolproof. It's proven.
Yeah.
It's scientifically, that's
one way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hendo writes, I almost killed Lawrence Maroney in Dinkytown on a moped.
Yeah.
He pulled out of an alley with no regard for human life.
That was one of Mason's favorite stories when he was driving into work or driving around, and Maroney and Barber were on the same moped. And
man.
And he basically said, my career is in the hands of those two right there.
Think about it.
Yeah.
As an orthopedic provider, there is not a weekend that goes by that we are not operating. There's that we are operating on someone who broke a significant bone in their body riding an e-bike.
Yeah, for sure.
John from Playa Vista, California. Dan, as someone who's lived in L.A. for 17 years now, I actually miss the snowy roads. Between lane splitting of bikes, e-bikes, and hogs, top that with an overrun LAX neighborhood of driverless cars. I'll take the snow. I'll take the ice. Keeps drivers honest. Here, it's absolute chaos. I feel like I have to be a jackass just to survive. Wow.
I think you do.
Yeah, well.
That traffic by LAX is a special kind of traffic.
There's no question about it.
Even for LA.
Yes, they are dumb and dangerous, but cigarettes are still legal, so. Next comes a $50 million e-bike lane project for around the Minneapolis area.
Yeah, it's probably coming. Got to separate
I have to find the history of the duck thing that somebody else had. Now it's going it's out of control. What is happening here? Hold on, I've hit something accidentally that is like I can't stop the scroll. It's now scrolled all the way back to like 4 days ago. What's the date today?
Today's July 13th.
Well, no, this is still today. We got a lot of text then.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is a good problem to have. Dan, I already did my Harley has doors. I missed the Camaro. Did you have? I had the. I should have started. There was an elaborate background to the duck story. Are you familiar with it?
I wasn't until now because we asked out loud, and then when the one texter talked about whenever I get ducked, so I'm like, what does that even mean? Get ducked? And apparently, it's a Jeep thing. Now it's branched out to other rugged vehicles, according to AI, like Broncos, Land Rovers, and different ones, where basically people put rubber duckies on each other's cars as like an act of kindness or solidarity that we're all on the same team. It's like a tip of the hat to the vehicle that you drive.
The ducks are from a claw machine in bars where you can win the rubber ducks.
Well, they might be, yeah.
That's possible. It could be some of those, right?
Sure.
Oh, here it is. Jeep ducking began in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
During the summer of 2020, when a Jeep owner named Allison Parliament placed a duck on a stranger's Jeep along with a note that read, "Nice Jeep, have a great day," to lift her spirits after an unpleasant encounter. The gesture went viral on social media under the hashtag #DuckDuckJeep, transforming it into a global community tradition. Is that what your understanding is?
That's my understanding. We're reading the same thing.
Wow.
Now I know.
Yeah.
So isn't it kind of a weird flex, though, if you're driving around with like 400 ducks in your front dash? Like, we get it. We get it. We're happy for you. You're very popular.
Never stopped anybody.
And you're very kind.
Well, wasn't there, what was the vehicle that there was supposed to be a nod of recognition when you're out on the road and another person in the same vehicle and you spot them?
I think it's the Jeep.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
So what is it with Jeep people? Then they have to have all these extra things.
They need the validation with each other.
But having
Because it's a
more
Jeep
than
thing.
one validation method is really frightening, isn't it?
But we wouldn't understand. That's
No,
what they
we
say.
wouldn't, yeah.
It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand.
I had a Jeep. I liked it, but I mean, I think it felt like it changed my life. But
Maybe you did not enough.
maybe I didn't.
You should have been
And
looking
maybe
for
I
other
needed more
Jeeps.
ducks.
You could have been part of the Jeep community.
Could have been part of the Jeep community. Yeah, I had one of those. They called it the Sahara Edition. Green.
Oh, I love the green.
It was a nice. It was very nice. Again, it was great in the summer.
What does it say about me that the duck thing really bothers me when I see a car full of ducks?
Well, I can't rip you because I'm similar in that sense. So I'd be kind of disingenuous. It'd be kind of fraudulent of me to go, well, why would you worry about something that's silly?
Yeah.
Although it is pretty silly, even by my standards, I would say. Motorcyclists always nod and wave to each other. Well, we're happy for
Do
them.
they?
Yeah, it's a wonderful fraternity. Hour number 2, I have a very, I think, pertinent question regarding a local sports franchise. Is Happier enough? I'll explain next.